Hi class, hope your Saturday's going well. Thought I would check in with you about all the things that I read in your sex histories and just kind of provide some general feedback for everyone. It was really nice to read a bit about each of you and hear your stories and kind of learn about what shaped you and how you think about sex at this point. Just to be clear, in terms of any of the course material that we're sharing, there's no monitoring in terms of like how much information you share or how little you share. That's absolutely up to you. So you share whatever you're comfortable with. You know, with the sex history, it was just for me to read, but the same goes for the forums. You share what you feel comfortable sharing, and learn from what you read and what you decide to share, and that's absolutely an individual choice. So that being said, the sex histories were filled with a lot of interesting information, and there was just a couple themes I wanted to touch on, just in terms of like what came out of it, and even like what I thought we might hear from all of you. So it was interesting to hear the difference between the male students and the female students in terms of what kinds of permissions were given to each of you in terms of being sexual, being interested in sex, learning about sex, and those sorts of things. And clearly, even now in our culture, women are taught to be less curious and more private about sex than men are. And so, although it doesn't surprise me, it was just something that was actually validated through reading your stories. And I think that just goes to the culture in general in terms of it being pretty patriarchal and male-driven. So we've still got a long way to go along those lines, and I encourage everybody to think critically about how your gendered self looks at sex and how your gender might play into that. That being said, you know, that lends itself to things, right? A patriarchal society in which women do not have access to as many privileges as men do sets us up for a lot of inequalities for certain. And it also it's symptomatic of this culture that there's a lot of sexual assault against women. And that's something that hasn't changed, unfortunately, throughout the years. And I don't know if it's more prevalent now, but it's certainly prevalent, and people are just more vocal about it now. So that's something that I think is an issue that in this class we should be considering when we think about these things. And, you know, as individuals who live in this society, who make our way through the world, it's nicer to feel safe for all of us and who are part of the society. So what do we do about this? Is this an issue that we want to take on? For parents who are raising boys, what are you teaching your boys about being sexual and what's okay and what's not okay? And for parents who are raising girls, what are we teaching our girls? So just stuff to consider, you know. I don't think many of us would think that a culture that's filled with sexual assault is a good thing. So how do we move past that? And we're going to cover sexual assault towards the end of the semester, but I don't mind starting this conversation early if people are interested in doing so. And then I just wanted to also invite you to sit in on any of the face-to-face classes that I teach for human sexuality. We meet on Tuesday nights at 6 o'clock in Fesselman Hall, and we cover very similar topics to what we're doing in here, although we do them in a face-to-face format, so it's a bit different in terms of the conversation and, you know, the activity that goes on. Sometimes I have speakers come in on different topics. So if any of that sounds interesting to you and you're local, feel free to reach out to me, and you're always welcome to come and see that class. All right, so moving forward, next week you're going to be reading about female anatomy, the vagina, baby making, all sorts of fun stuff. So you'll get the scientific aspects of it from the reading, but then we'll watch the Vagina Monologues, which is a really great social justice film written by Eve Ensler, produced by Eve Ensler. She's a playwright. It's her play. If you've never seen it, this will be eye-opening. If you've seen it, hopefully it'll just make you rethink the things you thought in the first place. The nice thing about that play, Vagina Monologues, is it's done locally on campuses. So I think it was just done in Berkeley. Often it's done at Sonoma State. It's a pretty well run play on college campuses. So I would say keep your eyes out if you want to go see a live show. And if anybody finds a live show and they want to share, tell people it's coming, let us know, because it's a neat video to watch, but it's even more interesting to see it live. So thanks, and we'll be talking again soon. Take care.